Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. We're here today with our first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Looking forward to answering your questions like we do every Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully, you've been tuning in for a while now. I love when I hear from whether it's our IHPs or other listeners pausing after I read the question to see how you might answer it yourself. I love to hear that. I'd love to see that because really that's what it's all about, is it's gaining information, health-based knowledge on a weekly basis in order to be able to then tie together certain situations that you can figure out through your own accumulated health knowledge. So that's what it's all about. It's really, as we say with IHP, is creating a health coach in every home. That's honestly what it's all about. It's what the world needs. It's right now, for sure, it's what the world needs, is for one person in every single household to really learn about health and to be able to point people in the right direction. They don't have to have all the answers, but they need to know where they can point people in order to be able to get good, trusted advice. So, well, if you've ever thought about becoming a health coach or learning more about this, you can head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org. And of course, you can learn more about it there. So we are picking up today on episode 1947, it looks like, stephencabral.com/1947. And what I found out from my team is that we actually skipped 6 questions last week. Meaning it's not like we didn't do our questions. We did a dozen questions last weekend like we always do, but I accidentally jumped past 6 of them. So these questions came in on April 13th through April 17th. So just letting you know, we always answer them in the order that they come in, except last week where they were a little bit out of order. So just to let you know, we're now recording this, I believe it's June 5th or so, right around June 5th. And so again, we're running about 6 weeks or so behind on your questions from when you submit them. And if you would like same day answers, always do feel free to submit those over at cabralsupportgroup.com for the community and our health coach team over there. Okay, so first things first, let's read the question and give you an answer. All right, so I always have to give this statement. We are not providing any medical advice, any treatment plans, any cures, or any diagnosis on this podcast. All right, Jen's up first. Hi, Dr. C. Do you have any knowledge or history working with patients with arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia? I'm wondering if you have any advice on natural ways to support the body. Thank you for all you do. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to mention in this particular area is that you always want to work from a medical, conventional medicine standpoint, as well as with a naturopathic doctor or an advanced integrative health practitioner. And the reason is that there can actually be issues with the electrolyte balance and stress, as well as inflammation and heavy metals that could be exacerbating this condition, whether predisposed or not. So I do want you to know that you have to take it seriously, right? So you want to work with conventional medicine, but at the same time, you want to work to say, hey, are there any underlying root causes that could improve this overall? Because it's a type of, it's a condition that can get worse over time, or you can try to stabilize it. And when you stabilize it, then you're not dealing with all the scar tissue that can take place, or what's called cardiomyopathy, where that muscle becomes weaker and weaker and weaker. And so do the arrhythmias, and so do the electrical impulses, which, remember, are carried because of and through minerals in your body. So you might want to go back to stephencabral.com/podcast, type in arrhythmia, and learn about how magnesium and other nutrients could actually help with that. But again, you want to work with your cardiovascular specialist as well as your naturopathic doctor. Okay, Jen, thank you for writing in. Karen's up next. Hi there, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for all you do. I've listened to your previous podcast on PEMF mats and appreciated the information. I don't fully understand how how PEMF works, but recently read that 10 to 15 Gauss is required to stimulate adenosine receptors to reduce inflammation. The Healthy Line website for the PEMF mat you recommend states that their PEMF mat operates at 7.8 Hertz, but makes no mention of Gauss. Can you explain the difference and help me to better understand what I should be looking for in a PEMF mat? Okay, so I think the issue only revolves, Karen, around the PEMF mat that you were looking at. So if I go to, for anybody who wants to know more about this, head over to stevencabral.com/resources. I'm literally doing the same thing right now if you're watching this on video. And the reason is I want to click on and make sure it goes to the mat that I recommend for PEMF mats. Let's see. I've got a little category drop down. So let's put this under I'm assuming it's going to be biohacking, but I don't know. It's not under biohacking. So what is it under? Let's find out what it is. Now, the little trick that I learned a long time ago is you can actually press Command F, and then you can just type in PEMF, and you should be able to find it. And there it is. It worked. And so it's under detox. All right, it's under detox. Yeah, I could see it under detox. My team did a good job putting it there. So you just click on the learn more and hopefully it takes you right to that page. All right, it doesn't take you to the exact mat that I have. All right, so I'm going to tell you which mat I have right now. I have the TAJ mat full 7224 firm photon PEMF mat. All right, so that's the exact mat that I have. And I'm going to share with you because the Hertz, actually, you can set your own Hertz on that mat. Because remember, for PEMF mats, the Hertz, I don't want to say megahertz, Hertz can be set at different levels depending on the ailment that you're trying to work on. Like you just talked about adenosine receptors. By the way, adenosine receptors are just one part of the equation. So it's not like you just want to work on that. You can work on different areas. I actually set mine to the 7.8, but I know it can be changed because I use it and I know that you can change it. So let's see if I can find the specific ranges right here for you, just because you asked, and I think that will help. It says PEMF frequency of 7.8. I know that I can change mine. I know for sure because I've changed it literally for the different Hertz. But that's what it says. So that might be where the confusion's coming from. And they probably copied and pasted that over from another mat. But I know that you can move it up and down. And so really the best thing to do is to be able to contact Healthy Line and ask them that specific question, because I know for sure that you can change it. And you might even be able to look up a YouTube video of someone changing it as well. Like I said, because I know for sure that you can change the Hertz because I've changed the Hertz. So you can change the temperature, you can change the Hertz up and down, and you can change the pulsing of the PEMF mat. All right. So thank you for writing in, and I wish I could be of more help, but I really do love the mat. My wife loves that mat. It's a great way to do a gentle detox. That's why it's under the detox, as well as help support healthy levels of inflammation. All right, Kathy's up next. Dear Dr. Cabral, I've run the Big 5 labs and done all the protocols with Equilife to address my imbalances, so I feel really great thanks to you. Happy to hear that, Kathy. I have a recent concern I cannot solve. I've danced flamenco for a couple years now, and we always do intense footwork. But only recently I find that all my leg muscles feel extremely weak after only 5 minutes of work, to the point where I'm in significant pain. It's like I have no muscle strength or energy in them, and the next day I'm super sore. Up until a few months ago, I never had weakness, pain, or soreness. I do the Foundation Protocol Level 3 and do take CalMag 2 to 4 caps per day based on the HTMA. I've tried adding creatine, but with no change. Can you point me toward what can be causing this? Is it possibly a mitochondrial issue or perhaps metabolic? Thank you, and I appreciate you so much, Kathy. All right, so Kathy, I think that this might be easier to solve by a subtractive method than an additive method. And I've talked about this quite often on the podcast and certainly in the rain barrel effect. One of the things that I learned overseas during my internships was that many people get well from a subtractive standpoint, which is why the 21-day functional medicine detox really works so well. So you already know all about the ins and outs of your body, and you're feeling great because of the Big 5 labs. However, something's going on that isn't just meshing well with your body. So this is what I'm recommending, and it could be the CalMag. Okay, it doesn't happen often, but it could be. Why? Calcium and magnesium actually work with the actin and myosin of the muscle fibers that allows them to actively contract. So when you make a muscle, let's say you just flex your bicep, the fibers actually roll over each other, and that's how they get shorter, and then they can extend. And I actually know I am not a dancer by any means. I love watching dance. I really do, actually. And flamenco dance is beautiful to watch. I can't do it, but I guess if I put in the time, I could. But it's not my card. We'll say it's this. It's not my future, and it's not in the cards. But it could be. I'm going to have you do only one thing. Keep everything else the same, but just remove the Cal Mag. I would love to hear if that works. You can write in at Cabral Support Group. An even better way for me to be able to see it is just to DM me on Instagram or put it in the comments and I'll see it. Okay, so that's that. And then what if it's not, though? Okay, what if it's not? This could be, and I was thinking right from the beginning, some electrolyte issue, or you are now on some type of low carb diet, and that could be causing this as well. So if you switch currently or recently to a low carb diet, that could be it. If you change your electrolytes, which Cal Mag, this does not happen often, by the way, but that could be an issue. So we're just going to remove that for right now. See how that works. And those would be my first two. Do I want to give you anything else? Well, I don't want to do additive yet. So those are subtractive. But if I were to do additive, even though I don't think it's the fix, it's not, but you certainly could add some D-ribose to your morning smoothie or routine, 5 milligrams twice a day in the smoothie. And then before you're dancing, you could do that as well. Okay. But don't do that until you do the others. Pip's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Would love your thoughts on my questions about multiple sclerosis. I've had a search on your podcast page, but didn't find exactly what I was after. I know that you believe that most diseases can be prevented. So what would you say to someone who is showing multiple symptoms of MS, but hadn't been formally diagnosed yet, but the possibility of it has been mentioned? There's obviously no cure for MS. So what would you suggest if it was one of your family members in the situation? Thank you so much. Appreciate your thoughts. Well, there's no cure for MS, like there's no cure for Addison's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's, fibromyalgia, lupus, or anything else. So I don't want you to think that when you get MS, you can't be healed, because you can, right? I had rheumatoid arthritis. I don't have it anymore. I had Addison's disease. I don't have it anymore. I had fibromyalgia. I don't have it anymore. I had brain fog. I don't have it anymore. I had debilitating seasonal allergies. I don't have them anymore. I had myalgic encephalomyelitis. I don't have that anymore. I had type 2 diabetes. I don't have that anymore. So let's not talk about what can be cured and what can't be cured. Because if your body at one point didn't have it, you can get back to that point. As long as, like in rheumatoid arthritis, as long as your joints haven't been severely deformed, okay? Or with Hashimoto's, as long as you didn't have your thyroid destroyed. So it's like, you can definitely go back. So I want to be careful with the words that we're putting in our mind, because words are very powerful. Thoughts are even more powerful, and feelings are the most powerful. So don't believe that you can't be healed, because you can. So let's start from the beginning. There's a stage between having MS and not having MS, which is starting to get the symptoms of MS. So what I want you to do is go back to this Tuesday's podcast, episode 1943. All disease begins in the gut. If you don't know where to start for chronic-based dis-ease in the body, you need to go to the gut. The very best thing you could do, if you believe in autoimmune dis-ease of the body is coming on, or your parents had it and your grandparents had it, like mine did, is to run the Big 5 labs. You need to figure out what your imbalances are now. Because the only way that disease takes place in the first place is there was a deficiency in something, typically a micronutrient, which are vitamins and minerals, amino acids, omega-3s, things of that nature, or there's a toxicity, which is heavy metals, pesticides, antibiotics, all sorts of different toxins that we might put in our body. All right. So that is the answer. All right. Maria's up next. Forever grateful for your knowledge. I recently heard that baking potato, starchy foods, cause the formation of harmful substances called acrylamides, which may be carcinogenic. Apparently, it is from the chemical reaction of certain sugars and the amino acids asparagine from high temperature cooking. Furthermore, if you eat baked potato, it is recommended to not eat the skin, or just better to steam or boil. I've never heard of this, so I was wondering if you have. Thank you. Okay, Well, it's just to let you know, it's my job to have heard of all of these things and studied them. And this is literally my profession, my job. I take it very seriously, probably too seriously, but hopefully that's a benefit to people listening. So I want to type acrylamide because I've spoken about this before. So let's go to StephenCabral.com. StephenCabral.com/podcast. Let's go to the search bar. Let's type in acrylamide. And there are no matches. Well, we're going to talk about it here today, that's for sure. I've definitely talked about it, but it just means that it wasn't written on a show before. All right. So acrylamides are caused by high temperature cooking, but not just from baked potatoes or starches. Acrylamides are caused by grilling meats or any vegetable or anything at all that causes charcoal or grill marks or burning on that food. And I know that all of us love those grill marks on food. Just know that those are called acrylamides are being created, and they are carcinogenic. There's no doubt about that. That's why I just have difficulty understanding why there are certain people that recommend consuming charcoal every single day of their life, or your life. Again, be very careful who your sources are of information. Some people love to sell you a charcoal product, and so they're recommending that you should take it every day. You shouldn't. One is it will bind up good nutrients. Two, it is a carcinogen. You don't want to eat burnt food every single day. Now, do I recommend charcoal? Yeah, if you got food poisoning or anything like that, yes. Or a 5-day intestinal cleanse during a CBO protocol, a parasite protocol, or once or twice a year to remove a lot of that waste from your body. Yes, not every day. Sometimes, yes. So, okay, let's move on. So here's what I want to share with you. Acrylamides are real. It's with any food really, and it's at high temperature cooking or a lot of open flame. So here's what I want you to think. Let's say that you, every once in a while, you want to grill and you love those grill marks on your veggies or your meat or whatever it is. Add antioxidants to it. Antioxidants on the food itself help to reduce the acrylamides, and the antioxidants are going to help with the oxidation as well in your own body. So use lemon juice, use olive oil, and ideally don't cook at high temperatures. All of this can really be abated by using the Ayurvedic methods of cooking, which is low and slow. All right, so low and slow is low heat or medium heat until it's cooked. And that will help with all of these different acrylamides. And the part about not eating the skin, well, usually the skin or things like that, that will be more burnt and have more of that infestation. That's definitely not the right word for that, but let's go with it. And the other part is that I don't typically recommend eating the skins of potatoes simply because they can have mold or fungus or other things on them as well. All right, Maria, hopefully that was helpful. Sarah's up next, and Sarah will be our last question of the day. Hi, Dr. Ball. Thanks so much for providing us with such great information. Thank you, Sarah. I constantly recommend your podcast. You are a superstar. Appreciate that. I have bradycardia. My heart rate is consistently around 55 and drops below 50 during sleep. I'm awaiting my thyroid panel results. I am certain that I am hypothyroid. My TSH was 3.65, and I've just convinced my doc to run further tests. I've had mixed information about iodine. I have listened to podcasts suggesting supplementing with iodine, but after reading Dr. Christian's book, The Thyroid Reset, he explains that there is too much iodine in the diet, and I do feel less fatigued after reducing it. I was just wondering what your thoughts were on this, and if there's anything to do to bring my heart rate into normal range. Okay, well, let's do first things first. A 55 is not abnormal. Like a 55 by any means is not abnormal for a heart rate. So I don't want to say that that's abnormal. If we're talking about below 45, then we're talking about bradycardia. So again, I'm not giving you a medical diagnosis, but a friend of mine, I'm not going to reveal their name, just asked me the same thing about 2 days ago. So I had him run a panel of blood work to make sure that it wasn't. Okay. Make sure that you don't have these symptoms: feeling dizzy or lightheaded, short of breath, finding it difficult to exercise, feeling tired all the time, having chest pain, or feeling your heart rate is pounding, right? You're getting fluttering or palpitations. You feel confused or having trouble concentrating, or you faint. Okay, those are all symptoms of bradycardia. Now, let me see if I can find the panel that I asked him to run. And I asked them to run their potassium level and their thyroid level And that was basically it. And I ask you to do the same. So if your potassium level is too high, it's very easy to run for your medical doctor. That can cause bradycardia, which is dangerous. If your thyroid level, your TSH is above a 2.5, then it's definitely a thyroid issue. You can't, it's very important. You have to run your T4 and your free T3. Very, very important. Because most people need iodine. I know Dr. Christensen, and he's a very smart man, and I've met him actually at multiple conferences. But I don't usually do this, but I'm going to go into high iodine foods. I've done a podcast on it as well, and you can definitely check out iodine. But I'm going to go to it right now. High iodine foods. We can take a look at it. Just because I'm convinced that most people are not on a high iodine diet. Okay, so are people eating a lot of seaweed? I just don't think so. Are people eating cod, 6 ounces multiple times per day? Are they using table salt it would have to be more like 4 or 5 grams per day? And that's about it. So unless people are eating seaweed or a lot of certain types of fish, some forms of dairy, which most people are staying away from, a lot of cow's milk now, most people are not on high iodine diets. Most people don't have enough iodine in their diet. So what I would say to you, Sarah, we can tell you definitively, here's the amazing thing. You no longer have to guess. You can take your iodine levels. There's a test that we run called the heavy metal toxicity test. You can find it over at equi.life/labs. And you can actually find your iodine levels. So there's no guesswork. Because if you stop using iodine, your TSH could go higher. You could, just because you need iodine to make thyroid hormone. But if you had taken in too much iodine, well, then you don't need iodine. Then you'll look for another issue for why your thyroid's not functioning properly, which I talk about inside of my Health Results Accelerator that you can find over at stevencabral.com/accelerators, and you'll be able to see the thyroid one right there. So I don't think that we should play around with this. We can lab test. We can figure this out exactly, and we help people with thyroid issues literally every single day in our practice. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, thank you so much for tuning into today's show. I appreciate you, and I'll be back tomorrow answering more of our Cabral House Calls. Take care, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. Your support means the world to me. It really does, which is why I love to be able to create offers like this for our Equilife and podcast listener community. We are right now offering over at Equilife a buy one Fatlocity, gift one to anyone of your choice. We've never done this before. It's essentially a $99 giveaway for someone that you believe would be a great fit for Fatlocity, or someone that you would love to have join you for our Fatlocity weight loss system. Remember, this is the top scientifically proven weight loss system in the world, with over 24 clinically verified studies based on the exact patented ingredients inside of Fatlocity. You can check it all out by simply going to equi.life/Fatlocity, and you'll learn all about the system. Not only do you get the nutritional supplements backed by science, which are the ingredients inside of that are clinically proven orthomolecular nutrients and blended with Ayurvedic-based herbal nutrients, but you also get my personal course that I give you for free whenever you sign up for Fatlocity. It's going to give you the diet plan, the nutrition plan. It's going to help you learn about your carbohydrate tolerance, which I talked about years ago, and it's now becoming much more popular. So it's all inclusive. It really is. It is the system that's going to help you burn the fat and keep it off, even if you haven't been successful in the past. And because we know that really you want to embody and dive into a weight loss program with a partner. It just makes it so much better when you have the two of each other to lean on, right? When times are getting a little bit tough for you, then you can lean on someone else. And when they're having challenges, they can lean on you. You're both going through the system together. So right now, over at equi.life, you can click on the button right on the homepage while supplies last of buy one Fatlocity, gift one free. Head on over. Join up with a friend. We would love to hear your success story soon. Take care.